Hi everybody, my name is Philip and today I want to show you how to convert the Radio Flyer Tesla Model S into a remote controlled version. So let's get started.
Remove the seat, the steering wheel and the instrument panel, as well as the gear selector. Remove the rear bumper of the car, then put it on its side. Remove the steering wheel rod by first removing the plastic at the bottom, then prying the rod out, at the bottom and at the top. You can remove the rod altogether. Then disassemble the accelerator pedal. Be careful not to damage any wires, since we need this button later. Disconnect all the cables, also from the gear selector. Then pull the cables out from the inside of the car and remove them towards the back. Cut the power cable which goes to the forward lights. Remove the cover of the motors and disconnect both cables. Remove the cables towards the back of the car. Disconnect the battery connector and disconnect all the cables from the gear selector. That's the button labeled 1 and 2. Then remove the button from the enclosure by prying it out of it. Put the servo motor on the bottom of the car and make sure its arm aligns perfectly with the steering axle. When achieved, please mark the position with a pencil. Then, with the power drill, cut out an opening for the servo motor. Make sure to file off the rough edges with a file like shown. Then assemble the servo motor arm. Remember that this yellow part is 3D printed, but can be achieved differently also. Install the servo through the floor plate and tighten it with the 4 screws supplied with the servo. Attach the servo motor arm like shown and secure the arm and the axle with a screw. The next part is optional. If you want to be able to turn on and off your ESC with a switch, you can install one in the back of your car. Here you can see a layout of the electrical system. We're using the Lightspeed battery that is supplied with the car. However, to do so, we need to misuse the accelerator pedal switch as an on-off button, as this battery only supplies enough voltage once this button is pressed. Therefore, we're using a small cable that connects between the pedal to the battery. After that, everything is supplied by the battery. Through the ESC, also the receiver and the servo receive their power. The ESC controls the motors, and with the long cable, we can even turn on the lights. We need a few cables from the main cable harness. Firstly, the plugs that went to the motors. Leave them about 30 to 40 centimeters long and cut them off. Secondly, we need the battery connector and the small cable next to it. Remove them from the cable harness, also leaving them 30 to 40 centimeters long. The accelerator pedal switch is no longer used for the motors, so we can cut off the green and white wire and the battery connector as well. Then we're gonna cut off the green, red and blue cable from the connector. Remove the heat shrink wrap around the white cable and isolate the blue, green and yellow wire that we just cut off so they don't make a short. We need to exchange the connector so that it will fit with the other end of the battery. The end product will look like this. This is the connectors that go to the motor, and this is the connector that goes to the battery. Let's set everything up for a quick test run. Firstly, connect the ESC and the motor cables. Then connect the back power supply to the receiver and attach the servo. That's how it's going to be in the car. If you have the 3D printer part for the accelerator pedal, fix it with zip tie and then you can use it for installment. If you've chosen to have an on-off switch for the ESC, that's how it might look like. And here we go with the installation. Put in the switch for the ESC, then the pedal switch for the rest of the system, and arrest it with a screw and put a nice button on top. Install the motor power cables through the back and reconnect both motors. Attach the motor cover back to its place. Now you can install all cables nicely, neatly, and tie them up with zip tie. Reattach the rear bumper to the car. And that's how it should look like in the end. I put the ESC behind the two motors and the cables fit nicely in here. The back supply cable supplies the receiver you can see here, and the cable goes in front to the servo. A second cable from the battery goes there to supply the lights. For a quick test run of the system, jack up the car, insert the battery, push the start button to turn on the battery, then turn on your remote control and start the ESC. It will make a few beep sounds to get ready. Then you can try and see if the servo is working and if you can turn on the motor for going forwards, faster, slower, and with this ESC you can even brake by pulling back the stick harshly and of course going reverse. Turn off the car by turning off the black button first, then remove the battery and turn off your remote control. The car should be able to charge normally as it was before. Since the Tesla superchargers don't seem to be compatible. Unless you want to use your Tesla for transportation purposes, it's a good idea to add a roof to the car. I did it by cutting the aluminum L profile into 2 cm pieces. I cut the Velcro to 4 cm pieces. Then you attach the Velcro to one side of the L profile. I added a little bit of hot glue to the other side to make it stick really well. You need about 20 pieces of this. Additionally, you need a small piece of the PVC plate and attach the opposite Velcro tape to it. This is then used to attach the L profile with a little bit of hot glue on the proper height. Just attach it like so, and then you can remove the small plate again. Repeat 20 times all around the perimeter of the roof, and that's how it should look like in the end. You can get the PVC plate and draw the rough outlines of the roof shape onto it. Cut it out and correct where necessary, until you're satisfied with the fit of the roof. Then I tied a small string between the L profiles in order to put the PVC plate on top of it and heat it up with the hot gun so it will take the shape of the car. Let it cool for some time, then remove the now bended roof and also remove the strings that are no longer necessary. Now you can apply the black glossy self-adhesive foil to the roof. Cut it off nicely and bend it around the corners so it looks nice. Then just simply attach the opposite Velcro all around the roof and attach it nicely to the car. That's it, our conversion is done.